Hi, welcome to Inside the Moms Club, where being a mom is the coolest place to be. Here in the Moms Club, we believe that what embarrasses you now will make a great story later. And let's face it, you don't laugh sometimes, you're gonna cry. Join us in having a good laugh together. I'm Monica Samuels. You are now inside the Moms Club, your private destination for all things mom.
If you see me running, stop me.
Hi, moms. Welcome to Inside the Moms Club. I'm Monica Samuels, your host, and I'm here with my co-host, Raha Dixon.
Hello,
Hey,
Monica.
Raha. How are you?
I am good. Yes.
So we're getting into that time of year. It's going to be back to school, and you're going to have a sixth grader.
I am.
It's hard to believe.
It's very hard to believe. It comes by very quickly.
It really does. So have you gotten all the college essays written yet, or how?
Oh my gosh, we're already looking at essays for high school.
See?
It's so
Didn't
crazy.
Didn't I tell you when he was going into fourth grade that
it's about to hit me?
You were behind.
I was so behind. And I was like, guys, it's nothing. It's going to be great. Now I'm like, yeah. So that's one thing. But then also sixth grade, so hormones have entered the picture.
Oh.
And all the parents are talking about how their kids are just a little extra. And we had some interesting social dynamics in fifth grade. It was already, I feel like hormones came early for his class. I don't know. But there was a lot of, maybe a little bit of mean, or letting out your inner darkness. And so we have 4 new kids coming to sixth grade. So we're hoping it changes the dynamic because it's a very small class. I'm praying.
Is this private? Did they vet these kids? Or, I mean, like, is this going to be a good addition, or
yes?
Or do we still need more prayer? Is that
I don't know.
Because we'll pray for you if you think that will help.
Listen, I will never say no to prayers. Okay. So yes, please, to the prayers. They have been vetted. It's a private school.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I've been told. But last year was challenging, and I wonder if it's because of post-COVID. That's what they told us. They said post-COVID, all the kids just had a hard time reacclimatizing to school and socializing with all this anger and anxiety and frustration. And so it was way bigger than we thought. So I'm curious to see what happens when hormones really kick in.
And that's about that age. And so my kids went to private school too, and it was weird because they get to interview the kids. Yeah. And all of a sudden you'd hear there's this group of kids coming in and they're really awful. I was like,
there's nothing worse a mother wants
Why are we bringing horrible people into the school?
And it's like the worst thing to tell a mother is that your kid is going to be in the lion's den. It is that is wow.
Well, especially that age too, because we had social and emotional learning.
Oh God.
Through sixth grade, and then the minute it ended, they became horrible. It's like
no.
Where did all that social and emotional learning go? I mean, it was just
kick in.
Kind of bizarre. Yeah. So I know you're at a tricky place here. So
I am.
We won't pressure you too much about.
I am.
The fact that he may not go to Harvard if you don't kind of get on the stick there.
I am totally okay with no Harvard.
Okay, well, I would
okay
be too,
with, like,
actually.
College down the street. I'm totally okay with that. I did not go to Harvard. I didn't go to college down the street. I went to Sydney University, which in Australia was a big deal, but here it's like, what university? So it turned out okay, and I did law. I never practiced it. So really, I'm useless.
And you're happy.
And I'm very
you're not
happy.
Useless. You're not useless at all. But okay, you've got one child to get to school.
Yeah.
Now, let's pretend for a minute you had 3 children.
Oh, that's my brother.
How would you manage that? Okay, so how does your brother manage that?
I don't know. And I sometimes talk to him and I see that he's not really listening.
Yeah.
Because his head is in 65 different places. And I totally understand that. And I've spent like a month at his house with his 3 kids plus my 1, and it's wow.
Okay, now let's take it further. Let's pretend you had 7 kids at your house.
Oh my God!
How would you do that in start school?
I don't think
would
I
you
would
just stay at the house, or would you leave, or what would you do? What would be your strategy for that?
I would employ a village. I feel like it would take a village at that point. Are we?
That would be tricky, I would think.
Yeah, you have to pick the right village.
Yeah, I don't have the answer for that either, but I do know someone who does.
Yes, tell
I
me.
mean, I'm sure she does. But our next guest, guest today, is an author, actress, singer, entrepreneur, and an enlightenment coach, which we're excited about the enlightenment here today.
Yes.
She has a book, Nobody Ever Told Me, which details how she overcame sexual, physical, and mental abuse.
Oh my goodness.
She has a company called My Kind of Dad, which helps children of incarcerated individuals connect with their parents.
Wow.
And she is a mom to her biological children, 5 adopted boys, and 2 foster kids. And she and her husband have a motto, which is amazing. Raise great kids and they should become great people. What a great motto. And welcome, Michelle Elizabeth Williams.
Yes.
Welcome to the Moms Club, Michelle.
Welcome, superstar.
How are you?
Well, we are most in awe of you and everything that you've done, and you're so inspirational. When you hear more about your story, it's enlightening and inspirational. And I know that in your book, and anyone who has the opportunity to read your book will hear your story, which you went through a lot of abuse and some horrible things that no child should ever have to go through. But today, but you came out on the other side of that in a really positive way. So I think what we really want to focus on today is just how you did that, because that's inspirational to anyone that's been through it, and certainly any mother that has seen children go through difficult times like that. So tell us, what was your strategy? Like, how did it happen that you were able to accomplish that when a lot of times people go to another, a darker side when things like that happen to them? What was the secret to your success?
So literally, there wasn't really a secret. It was just basically that I decided within myself that I was going to start taking out some me time because of all the abuse that I suffered. I saw where that was taking me in life, and it was only taking me down a downward spiral. And I used to always watch the Brady Bunch and, all those Leave It to Beaver and all those different shows. And those families always look so happy. So I said, well, that's the kind of family that I would like to have. I want to portray that for my children, my family. So I went on a journey of that. How do I do that? So what I did was I stopped allowing people to hurt me. Okay. I also took out some me time to learn that I have to value myself first before I can value anyone else. I'm a Christian, so what the Bible always says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Now, how can you love your neighbor if you give your neighbor everything? If I gave my neighbor all of my clothes off of my back, because you hear the saying, the shirt off of your back.
Sure.
If I give my neighbor the shirt off of my back, the shoes off my feet, the coat, my clothes, down even to my underwear, I'm going to be arrested for indecent exposure. Okay?
100%.
Right. So I don't want to be arrested for indecent exposure. When you say love your neighbor as yourself, meaning that you're going to keep your shirt on your back, you're going to keep your pants on, and you're going to keep your shoes on, and you're going to go into your closet and you're going to give them an extension of what you have. I couldn't give an extension of what I had because I was out there naked in front of everyone. And it was totally an indecent exposure. So what I had to do was dress myself emotionally from head to toe. I had to take care of me first. When I started taking care of me, I started realizing that I had so many gifts inside of me. And I was always buying people gifts and giving people things because I just wanted the love and the attention and the validation that I never got as a child. But when I started getting it for myself, I started looking around and I said, oh, wow, my house looks beautiful.
Yeah.
How did that happen? It only happened because I took out time for myself.
That's right.
Oh, that girl can sing. Well, and sometimes you got to look at yourself in third person, too, and talk to yourself like you're talking to one of your girls. What would you tell one of your friends? And that's what I would tell myself. I'd stand in the mirror and be like, girl, now you listen. He don't deserve that living room set, but your 3 daughters do.
That's right.
Or he don't deserve to be driving one of your cars, or they don't deserve it. You don't need that. And I'm telling you, when I put the time into me, when I tell you, forget the 360, the 180, I came to that middle point. I came to that crossroad that said, girl, you are worth it. And when I realized that I was worth it, I'm telling you, everything around me started like blooming. It was like flowers started coming up out of the ground. And I could see the colors and I can begin to feel, because I never felt any of this stuff before because everything was always so dark. But I realized that it all boils down to what you allow in your life, who you allow to disrespect you, who you allow to take from you. And when I realized this important factor, that need has a bottomless pit and people will always be in need. The poor will always be with you. Forget the poor, the abusers, the users, the manipulators, they'll all be there. But guess what? I don't have to allow them in Michelle's space. Yeah. And I could now protect my space, protect my children. And guess what? The abuse that I suffered growing up, my children didn't see any of that, all from one decision. Wow. I decided that my kids were not going to be punched in the face and they were not going to be knocked around and they were not going to be criticized or ridiculed or any of those things, because I'm going to pour love into them. I'm going to give them the attention that I never got. Wow. I'm going to be attentive. And when I did that, man, my kids are grown. I have grandchildren.
Oh, wow.
And now,
I would not have guessed that.
You know, it's not just that you didn't just protect them. You stopped the generational trauma. You stopped the link. Because the anger, you could have protected them from abuse, but could have launched your own anger at the fact that you had your own, because you hadn't processed it at them in different ways. And they would have still carried it.
Let me say this, though. Let me say this. I wasn't totally innocent in the changing of that role, okay? Because all I ever knew was abuse. So when my children came, I said to myself, I'm not going to be like my mother. I'm not going to be like my alcoholic father. I'm not going to do that. But I found myself every once in a while giving them a good slap, extra hard slap on their arm or something like, nothing like what happened to me. But I found myself every once in a while slipping down that. But the good thing about it was I caught myself. And when I caught myself, I corrected it immediately. Okay. And when I did that, that allowed me to be a better parent. But I was a work in progress. All I knew was darkness. I'm telling you, when God found me, he literally had to dig deep. He had to go past the surface. He had to go literally deep to get me.
I have met very few moms who are willing to admit that they did something not so great to their kids and they corrected it. I think that's so cool that you acknowledge that, because one, it shows your kids that you're human. It shows your kids that you're willing to course correct. And then that gives them the freedom to make mistakes too. They're not going to be scared of that anymore. That's
exactly.
So, at what point in your life did you make the decision that you were going to focus on you and make that change? Did you already have kids, or was it earlier in your life? At what point did that happen, and how did that happen exactly?
Okay, so I was in a bad relationship, right? And when I got out of that relationship, I immediately ran into another relationship as a rebound relationship.
Sure.
And we all know what the rebound is. Girl, what are you doing walking down this aisle? You ain't supposed to be here. We even left the marriage license at home.
Yeah.
We got married on Halloween. It's like, was it a trick or was it a treat?
We
don't know. Literally, it was a trick. But, I got married on that time, and he and I were not compatible. And how can two walk together unless they agree, right?
100%.
We agreed on nothing. He smoked, I didn't. He drank, I didn't.
Oh, wow.
He partied, I didn't. He was abusive, I wasn't. And it was like, I didn't want anything that looked like my father, but because the guy that I was with had did these horrific things to me, I was trying to get away from him to be with somebody that I know could like whip that little boy's tail, get him out
Yeah.
of there. And so I ended up in that relationship, and that thing was so bad. And I got to the point, let me tell you, I was so tired by the time I was 27 years old, right?
Wow.
I had my three daughters. They were young, and I went into the bathroom because I was no longer smiling, and I was a person that always smile, always, like I said, once again, looking for the validation,
Yeah.
talking to people, always giving to people. At this point, I couldn't give anything anymore. I had nothing to give to anyone.
Yeah.
So I went into the bathroom, and I laid on the bathroom floor and put my face in the toilet bowl because that's how low I felt. It was just, God, there's nothing left. So I said to God, I said, today's going to be the day I kill myself. So I allowed my face to lay in the toilet bowl, and it was so dirty. And, every time I talk about this story, it just makes me want to cry because I just feel like
Oh.
but I'm so glad it happened because I'm a better person because of it. But I put my face in the toilet and the water was just in my face. I don't know if crap was in the toilet. Could have been like a little thing floating around, hit me in the head. I would have never known.
Wow.
But my head was in that toilet bowl. And I said, God, today's the day I'm going to die. And when I said that, in my mind, because I couldn't even muster up the words to say this to God, in my mind back then, because I'll be 56 this year. So in my mind, I said, I have $1 in my pocket, God, $1. My bill back then was $21 to pay the house phone. In my mind, I said, if you have someone give me $20 without me asking, I will serve you and I'll live.
Oh, wow.
So I was walking down the street with my 4-year-old daughter at the time. And as I'm walking, a woman pulls out in front of me in her van. When she pulls out, she goes, oh, hello. And I'm like, hi, and we begin to converse. After we were having this conversation, she said, do you believe in angels? And I said, yeah. She says, well, there's going to be a show on tonight at 8 and you should watch it. And then we talked a little more. And then she said, would you be offended? And I said, for what? And she handed me $20.
Stop it. I just got
Wow.
goosebumps.
You know,
You know what? God listens to you.
Exactly.
You spoke to him and he answered you. You know how many people pray for that kind of a
Yeah.
response?
Let me tell you, when you're at your lowest point and you're ready to die, that's, I believe, when God says, good, now I can use you because
Yeah.
you're dead to yourself. You don't
Your
even
mind,
want to
right.
see yourself anymore. Let me use you and let me get the glory out of you. And you do what I say. And at that point, I was like, man, you got it all.
Wow.
So that's why I'm alive today, because I met Miss V. And the funny thing is, after meeting Miss V told me her children went off to college because her husband was a top neurologist in our town. And I was actually on my way down to his building to see one of the doctors in that area, in that building. So she told me her kids that went off to college and she had an empty nest syndrome. And she said she was standing over the kitchen sink. She said she was praying to God, if I have anything inside of me that can help a young mother, let me help them.
Oh my God. You are killing me over here.
wow.
Listen, I was about to kill myself, so that'd be a good death. But so when she said that, when we met, it was a meeting of the prayers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's been my saving grace. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. And she's still alive to this day. And she's my guardian angel.
Yeah.
Well, that is enlightening and inspirational. And I have to say, sometimes when you talk to people that are doing really well, you hear their story,
Yeah.
and it started with one of their lowest points in life.
Yeah.
Because when you're at your lowest point, there's really nowhere else to go but up at that point.
That's right.
And so
Exactly.
it's a very inspirational story. Now you've taken that gift.
Wow.
And you've done some amazing things with it. And one thing is you've taken in foster children. So
Yeah.
What prompted you to do that? Because a lot of us have thought about that, but it's very rare that you take the step of actually doing it.
Because it's scary, it's unknown, and it can be daunting for many people.
Sometimes I have to pinch myself like, girl, what the heck are you doing? But I'm telling you, because all we take in is boys. And our thing is, I'm raising great men for society.
That's beautiful.
Because these young men are out here and they could be one of the boys at our door one day with a gun. Like, who's going to step out and help these kids and literally turn their lives around? Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Rejection was one of my biggest downfalls because my parents, even though God restored us later, okay, and we had a really good relationship later.
Yeah.
My childhood, all the way up to teenage years, I was rejected by them. They never told me they loved me. Oh. I went through a lot of the abuse, and there was no protection for me. There was no love. There was nothing. I had to wear the hand-me-downs while my sisters and my brother and them were getting good allowances, and I always felt like the black sheep of the family. And because I've experienced all of the rejection, all of the hate, all of that kind of stuff, I know exactly what it takes to bring a child into my home when they come in with the nonsense. And I put my foot down, and then I let them know, listen, buddy, read my book. And if you don't read it, let me tell you a few stories about myself, because I've been there. And I want to show you how I've been on my own since I was 14 years old, making my own decisions. And they look at me like, oh, just so there's no excuse when they come in. So then we begin to deal with the behaviors, and then we help turn their life around. And what I will say is this. My father, in his alcoholism, was a comedian. So I'm just full of jokes all the time, My mother was the caring, nurturing person who would take in a woman in the house with her 6 children, along with her own 5 children, right?
Wow.
And just take all these people in, and then someone else would come in and say, I need a place to stay. And my mom would take them in. Yeah. And we had people in our rooms, and, but for us, it was cool because we would get the blankets and bunk with the other kids, and that became fun.
Yeah.
That's something great that she instilled in me, even in the midst of all the abuse, all the neglect, and just not being paid attention to. You can always find something good in the midst of the storm.
So, how many do you have right now? What's in your home at this moment? How many kids?
So, I have, let me say this. I had 5, but one just had a baby. He lives in his own apartment, right?
Okay.
And then I have another one that comes back and forth. He lives with his aunt now because he was kind of like, one of the kids that really gave a real hard time. And some kids, you can't help everyone.
I know. Yeah. And then how old, what's the age range? There's 4 currently.
Yep. So today I got a new one downstairs, actually, right now. Going through
it's like buying watermelons. I got a new one. Okay.
Yeah, he's going through an intake. So I'm about to he just came out of a hotel. So right now I take kids, some of the toughest kids that are in hotels that people will not take. Mainly that's teenagers, because they like to rebuttal you on everything, and people don't have time for that anymore. But I have, right now, this week, I will have 6 boys when I get the next one. 4 of them, 3 of them in the house right now are adopted, right?
Okay.
And 1 is a foster child that recently, listen, we're working through it. This is what moms go through when you do this. He stole my car. Well, excuse me, he stole my husband's car, and that was a big no-no. But he did it.
And you're still why are you still doing it, considering these are the things that are happening? I'm just curious. Yeah. That's what everyone would want to know. Because you said, I'll put myself first, and now someone, you bring them in, they steal your car, you're like, let me get another one. It's so interesting.
Sad to say, but when I was 14 years old, because I did not get the things that I wanted, I would go down to the elderly. Now, I used to do this for a long time. I used to always go take out their trash, right?
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I would always go in their pocketbooks and take their money. I would steal their Christmas cards. They trusted me and gave me cards to go put. Now, this is 13 and 14 years old, but because I had nothing, what did I really care? Nobody cared about me, so I didn't care. I mean, I did care, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
I'd go take their Christmas cards, rip them all the way open, take their money, go roller skating because my mom never gave me money, right? So
Wow.
when I work with the kids, not that I have to literally put myself in their place,
No, but you get it.
yeah, and there is a certain time when I can look at a kid and be like, bro, you got to go. Like, this is not going to work because you know certain things. As many times as you give people a chance, even on your job, you'd be like, listen, you're getting a warning, right? And then if they mess up again, now you get a written, you get a verbal, you get a written, and then you get out, right?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. We keep giving them verbals, then you get a written, and then if we feel like it's just not a good fit, then you have to go, and then we'll put somebody else in the bed that's going to be a good fit in the house.
Yeah. So tell us real quick about My Kind of Dad. What prompted you to start that, and explain a little bit about what that organization is like that you started?
Ooh, that makes me smile. Because my husband, he's such an awesome man. And one thing I did not tell you, 4 months ago, yesterday, our son was shot and killed here in Atlanta. He's 32 years old.
What?
He went out on a date. Somebody, they were, you know how kids do, they're popping their pills, they're partying. He wandered off into someone's yard and, they shot and killed him.
I am so sorry to hear
5:30 in the
that.
morning. Thank you. And so what I want to say about my husband is such a good man. Like, finally, okay, I got rid of the rebounds and the people that didn't make my life good. And I got this really, really good guy. And he loved the kids. He loved my children. He loved his children. And one day, as I was doing my company, I was thinking of a name for it. And I said to him, if I ever had to do it again, you would be the kind of dad that I would want. I said, you'd be my kind of dad. And I was like, I named My Kind of Dad after him because he's such a good, great man. And he's such an awesome dad.
Yeah.
So
That's very sweet.
that's where the name came from. But I started making these teddy bear balloons. And there's, in our culture, there's so many people, not just our culture, in this world, there's so many people with that are left. They're just left. When the parents make the decisions that they make, they're not thinking about the children.
No, they're not.
Now, my father did go to jail when I was younger, but that was because he was an alcoholic and he was doing his foolish stuff, falling out, fighting my mom, that kind of stuff. Police coming to the door 3 and 4 in the morning, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
but
rough.
he came home after 8 months. But there's children right now that have nobody coming home. And then there's grandma or a single parent that's raising this child. And the child is always wanting to see their parent and they can't. So I just thought,
hard.
what could I do to help? I take these 3-foot tall teddy bear balloons and they're so gorgeous. And I take it to the child. That brings a big smile to their face. We get the letter from the parent that's in prison or in jail. And then we go buy keepsake boxes and they put the anything that deflates or anything like that. They read the letter anytime they feel like it. Anytime you want to be near the parent that's away, you take that letter and you read the words. Because I don't know if you are like me, but when I was younger and the boy wrote me a letter, man, I read that thing over and over and over. And I kept that thing near to my heart. Like,
Yeah.
So that's what we do with the children. Because it keeps it near and dear to their heart, just to kind of fill an empty space. So in my life, I feel like being a giver. Okay, let me say this. I am a giver in a better way now because I love to give. I'm just a cheerful giver. I'm not being used in my giving now. Even though I use my funds to fund this, I am happy. It makes me happy to see a child fulfilled and getting something that they don't have.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michelle, our tagline here is if you don't laugh sometimes, you're going to cry. So I'm challenging you to tell us the funniest thing that's happened in this whole journey that you've taken.
Oh.
Or the most positive thing that's happened.
Let's see. There's a couple funny things. Well, I was thinking about this morning. This is just one little thing, and then I'll tell you the funny thing.
Okay.
I I was thinking about, the picture where they say, what would you tell your younger self?
Correct.
And I had written this whole big thing about, because they called me Missy, and I had Missy girl, Missy da-da-da. And I thought about this morning, I was like, if I had to rewrite that, I was like, what would I tell my younger self? I'd be like, girl, run for your life.
Oh.
That's what I would have said, run for your life. But some of the funny things, one time I had to go to a funeral because one of my friends in the town had passed away. Right. And I hadn't seen a lot of the people.
And this is the funny thing. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's funny.
It starts with the funeral.
Can I tell you something? It just seems like at funerals, some of the funniest things. One of the funny things is I went to a funeral. And one of my friends was in the bath. Well, no, I went to a friend's funeral and I was going to the bathroom and my friend was coming too. And when we got in there, one of the ladies was in there with a bag of clothes, washing her dirty clothes in the sink, hanging them up on the stool, the door.
Okay.
Yeah, of the bathroom. And I really thought that was funny. And then another funeral.
Wait, who was that? Wait, was this at a house? Was it at a funeral?
Was she a guest at the, was she at the funeral?
Yeah, it was a real funeral. And then I was like, oh my gosh. She was like, girl, don't worry. I'm just hanging up my clothes. Yeah, I had to close the door with the jeans hanging over and everything, using the bathroom. Like, what kind of freaky mess is this? But anyway, I went to another funeral because this is what I was going to tell you about.
Your other funny story is also at a funeral? This is amazing. Okay, go on.
Well, that's how you're an enlightenment coach, because see what I've learned now is you can even find funny things that lift up at funerals. So the next funeral you go to, look for the funny thing that happened.
I get to this funeral, and crazy thing is I look real cute that day, right? And now I'm thinking like all the people from the town and all the ones that moved away, they're all going to be at this funeral. And I'm going in, I'm walking down the middle. Now I don't want to look to the left or to the right because, you're going down to go to the casket to, give your respect and all this stuff. So I'm walking and I'm thinking, oh, I look cute with my black and white on.
Oh my God.
This is what I'm thinking in my head. Like, it's just funny. And I'm walking down and, the guy, we knew the guy who had passed away. So I just wanted to go up and give my respects. And I get to the front and, I had my head down and then I picked my head up. And it's a freaking lady in the casket, and I don't even know who she is.
Oh, no. I guess that is funny.
That would be funny.
You're like, who is that?
Yeah, that would be funny.
Oh, I was shocked. I was like, this ain't Leroy. So as I'm looking like,
I'm at the wrong.
And I'm in my head, I'm like,
and I wasted all my cuteness on someone I don't know.
The wrong funeral.
And here's the bad part. I didn't know any of the people sitting out there, so they was probably like, oh, she thinks she all that. And I was thinking, man, okay.
Wow.
Okay. That is funny. Well, Michelle.
I look inside and I find out that it's another lady from the town's family, and they were feuding, and that side of the family got to come to the funeral. And that's why I didn't know.
Wow. Well, that is funny. Well, Michelle, we have some Zoomer moms who would like to ask you some questions. So come on in, Zoomer moms. Welcome to the Moms Club.
Hi, Mom.
So, Lisa, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you, and then you have a question for Michelle.
All right. Well, I am so excited that I got to come here today. My name's Lisa, and I am a mom of grown kids, too. I live outside of Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
And I do selling of educational travel, so I work with kids in that regard and used to be a teacher. But I just love every single bit of your story and I was a couple of different things you said when you said, like, you love your neighbor as yourself. Mm-hmm. And I was like, but you didn't really love yourself, so how can you love other people? So I thought that was, that's what came out to me. Like, it's a really profound, scripture when you think of it in those terms. You have to love yourself so that you can do that.
Right.
That's right.
And I just love every bit of these miracles. These are the stories that just make me so happy because I know, it's inspiring when you feel like, okay, Lord, I keep praying, but you're not really answering. I know you're there, but I don't know how long you're going to make me wait. But then you hear stories like what you're doing and what has happened to you. And you can't deny that was God. And that is just
right.
so incredible. You're so blessed to have such a in your face kind of thing. And when you talk, she was saying, well, how come you keep taking more of these kids? And I was just thinking our sermon was about how when you have a relationship with God and you love him so much, the love that you and him have, it just spreads out.
Yeah.
And, you're spreading it out because he loves you in that relationship. And he did have all those trials for you so that you could do these things. And, you were really a blessed woman. So I'm glad you took your head out of that toilet. And I'm glad I got to hear your story.
Well,
Thank you
do
very
you have
much.
a question for Michelle? Do you have a question?
Well, no, I'm just amazed. I don't know what to ask. I'm just like,
dumbfounded.
One amazing compliment, which I think is terrific.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Julie, welcome to the Moms Club, and tell Michelle a little bit about yourself and what is your question?
Hey, Michelle, I'm Julie. I'm from Austin, Texas.
Yes.
Listen, girl, everything that you said was so incredible to hear. Like, it's like you were pulling the words right out of our mouth of what we were thinking. And so thank you for sharing your gift.
Thank you.
I did notice that you only have fostered and adopted boys. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So my question is, you have a house full. I know it's noisy. I know it's loud. What is the one fun thing that you do for your kids? Is it a birthday cake? Is it a gotcha day? I mean, what's the one thing that you see the biggest smile come on their face when they have found love in your home?
Well, yeah, that's it. When you said birthday. So we just had a birthday the other day. One thing I definitely do, because as a kid growing up, I never had a birthday party. They just never did that for me. And I'd always see my little sisters, especially my baby sister, get like this nice, the carnival cakes and all that. Yeah. And I used to want to just go over there and smash her cake and kick it and, because I didn't get it. So no matter what, even the boy the one that stole the car.
Right.
He stole the car about 3 weeks ago, right? And he ran away and did whatever he did. But even in that, I celebrate the day that he was born, right? Because he does have a purpose. So what brings me joy and what brings them joy is, and I love to decorate. I'm an interior decorator by my own right. Okay. I do it around places, but I just do it myself. I love to decorate and make things look absolutely beautiful to make them feel like they are important on that day, no matter what. And the one that stole the car, we just gave him one. I had the lights, the neon lights. We had a Gatorade party, and it was just so amazing. So every child gets a beautiful, beautiful birthday party. Really nice. Yeah.
They won't ever forget it.
That's right.
They won't, because I make sure that they understand that the day that they were born, that was a beautiful day.
That's right.
For them.
Well, great. I'm in awe. Thank you.
That is great.
Yeah.
Helen, welcome to the Moms Club. Do you have a question for Michelle?
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's really an inspiration, I'm sure, to so many people who've been through, similar, well, I can't imagine a similar situation, but who've been through either tragedy or abuse. But do you have, and I'm a mom of a soon-to-be 12-year-old daughter next week and live in Arlington, Virginia. And so do you have any tips on, with all those kids in your household, how do you balance between the fun mom doing these things and, wanting to do for your children and the, disciplinarian? Because I don't know about you, but I'm the disciplinarian in my house. And it's a little tough sometimes to, when you just kind of have to lay down the law. So what are some strategies that work for you?
So there's a couple things. And the first one is today's butt whooping is taking that phone away from them, taking their electronics.
That's right.
So what I do is at night, I set a time, 9 o'clock for school nights. And if they're a little older, because I have 14, 15, and now a 17. What I do is 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, You have to bring your phone downstairs, okay? And you cannot have no electronics. You got to bring your game controllers, everything downstairs, right? And when they, even in the summertime, I give them to 12 o'clock. And the reason why I do that is because the next morning, you don't have to ask them to clean their room. You don't have to ask them to do the chore of the kitchen.
They
You
have
don't
some
to
act
ask
right.
anything because they will do it and come knocking at your door saying everything is done. But see, I don't just go by the everything is done.
Yeah.
I got to go up and I got to check to make sure it's done. And if it's not done, you don't get it.
And
I also
you stick to that?
That is excellent advice.
And
I'm
I also
writing
let
it down.
them know. I also let them know too. I tell these kids here, some days you're going to absolutely love me. And I said, there's going to be other days you're going to absolutely hate me.
Yeah.
And when you hate me, that's not my responsibility. That's on you. Because I have to do my job to make sure that you become a better you as you grow up. So if you don't like me today, I mean, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm still going to be tough mom when I have to be tough mom. And I let them know there's going to be plenty of days that you're not going to like tough mom. And there's going to be plenty of days that you're going to love mom. But I have to create balance because if we don't have balance, we don't have life. Because in life, there's the moon and then there's the sun. You have to have balance to have night and day so you can rest. There's no rest if there's no balance in the house. So if you are the disciplinarian, that means that you have to bring the balance.
There's nothing wrong with telling your kid that parents are annoying
right,
sometimes.
right. No, you can do that. And with the phone, now I think it can be very helpful to a lot of moms out here for a lot of things. But I think the trickiest thing sometimes is you say you have that rule. You do not get your phone until X. And then your child finds every way that they can to annoy you to death until you give it up and you're like, okay, you get the phone back.
You can't give it up.
You can't. So I'm asking, how do you get the strength to stop yourself? You know, like I can't take it anymore.
I mean, Michelle is the strongest.
She is. That's why I want to get her advice on this because I think it could help so many mothers who just kind of thrown in the towel. And then the kid knows, oh, she's going to throw in the towel. She'll give it to me if I just punch these buttons and this is what happens. So where do you find the strength in yourself to really lay down the law and stick to it?
Turn the Wi-Fi off.
Nice. Oh, just bam.
Just the whole house goes down.
In my bedroom, the Wi-Fi is run out of my bedroom. I hit that button. Listen, it'll be just, you don't hear nothing. All
yeah.
Feet walking. You hear feet walking. And then you hear, Mom, is everything all right with the Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi.
So it's a Wi-Fi thing. I also tell them this. Listen, hey, it's a gift. The Wi-Fi is a gift. Okay. I also tell them this. Yeah. While you guys are up here complaining about, we ain't got no Wi-Fi. I need the air on. My bed. He's doing this. He's doing that. I said, while you're doing that, I have to make sure that the gas is paid, the electric is paid, the mortgage is paid. I have to make sure the car payment is paid. I said, because I got to get you to the doctors. I got to get you to the dentist. I have to take you here. I have to make sure that the air stays on so you can be warm when you go lay up in your bed and play on your phone and have no real responsibilities while all I ask you to do is do the dishes because we got to make sure you got a roof over your head and we got to make sure that you got clothes on your back. Oh, let's not forget about the food, right? And God forbid, if the lights go out and you're dark in here. I mean, I have so many responsibilities on my brain that I need your help to help me understand that you appreciate just even a little bit of stuff. Because I'm thinking about putting a bow on the doorknob when you come through the door just to know it's a gift to turn the doorknob. It's a gift to walk into the house. It's a gift to have shelter.
I like that. I'm going to put a bow on the doorknob.
All of this is a gift.
Yeah.
And if you can't appreciate the gift now, I hate to see it when you get older and you have to now supply the gift to someone. Because you might be somewhere living in a box under a bridge if you don't get it together now. So that's why I'm tough on you now, so you don't have to live in a box with a match under some bridge.
Well,
They
we,
wow.
we
They
can,
don't have to pay no bills. I'm not
we
mad.
can
I'm
see
not mad.
why you're a great enlightenment coach. That was very enlightening to all of us moms out there.
That's right.
For those who want to check it out, Nobody Ever Told Me is Michelle's book.
That's
And
right.
where can we find you on social media?
Oh, yeah. So, okay, let me give you my website first. It's MichelleElizabethWilliams.com. Then my Instagram is, and this is my Instagram and Facebook, Michelle, Michelle, another E for Elizabeth, just the E, Williams98.
Oh, wow.
Okay, great. Well, check Michelle out there, and you can check us out at Inside the Moms Club on Instagram, and our website is InsideTheMomsClub.com, which is pretty easy to remember. Well, we can't believe that the time has already passed. It goes by
Flies.
so fast.
flies.
But we'll be back next time with celebrities and extraordinary moms just like you. We know your me time is precious and valuable. Thank you so much for spending it with us. Remember our motto. If you don't laugh sometimes, Raha, what happens?
You're going to cry.
You are going to cry. We do not want to cry. We want to laugh and have a great time. So we'll see you next time inside the Moms Club.
That's right.